Okay, we're taking a look at a game called Meta Plot. It looks like we have some characters up in the middle. Uh, Various words, actually, also heritage, castle, wood, dungeon. Interesting. Um, oh, I understand. Okay, so it looks like those are locations. So the princess and Felix are in the castle, and Troy is in the wood. There are 5 available choices. Let's see. Make your own choice to make the story interesting, or let the system decide for you by hitting your turn. The game restarts when the get married option appears. Troy and Felix are heroes, but they won't fight if they don't have good reasons to do so. Also, they cannot fight the dragon alone. Looks like we have a number of choices over to the right. I think we're going to start by just hitting enter a few times and seeing what happens. So I chose the dragon goes to the wood. Now what happens? The princess goes to the woods. The dragon attacks the wood. Oh, okay. Princess and went to the dungeon. Felix went to the wood. Felix goes to the dungeon. Felix frees the princess. Persuades Felix to fight the dragon. Troy restores the protection of the wood. Dragon goes to the wood. Felix restores the protection of the dungeon. Princess goes to the wood. Dragon attacks the wood. Dragon kidnaps the princess. Troy restores the protection of the wood. Troy goes to the dungeon. Troy kills the dragon. Troy frees the princess. Troy goes to the wood, to the castle. Felix goes to the wood and to the castle. Princess wood castle. And then it's over. Okay, so I get it. It's kind of like a moving puzzle of sorts, but it's almost like a choose your own adventure. Let's see what happens. So let's make some decisions. Let's go. Felix goes to the woods, and then let's go. Troy goes to the dungeon, and Felix goes to the dungeon. Let's move the princess over there as well. So it looks like I have to attack the wood. Oh, it's not working. Interesting. Maybe it's just lagging on me. Dragon goes to the dungeon. Hmm. Did it lock up on me? Doesn't seem like hitting any of the keys work. Let's go ahead and try and relaunch the game and see what happens. I'm not sure if that's a crash on my end or because of the game itself. We can go ahead and relaunch it. Okay, sorry about that. Interesting. Streaming assets. I wonder what that is. We'll just go ahead and minimize that for the time being. So the dragon goes to the woods. Princess goes to the woods. And then we'll have the dragon attack the wood and see if that works. Okay, there we go. So the dragon returns to the dungeon, right? Hmm. Seems to be crashing again. Oh, no, it went. Okay, so it just. Oh, okay. So I see what happens. So there's an available number of choices, and then I have to let let it play out, essentially. So I have to just yield now. If there's no available choices and I can't select anything, the yield doesn't work either. So I'm not, that seems like it's a bit of a bug. Um, but that's okay. It doesn't matter for Gold Spike. We just need to make sure that there aren't similar issues going forward for the final P2 Gold assignment. Your game is very interesting. It has a different type of interface and different strategy than most other games that I've seen or played. It does feel like it's a kind of choose your own adventure story, but it's an interesting position. It almost mimics a board game with the way that the names move among the lists, and I think that's really interesting. I think you want to maybe expand upon that going forward. Maybe you could add some additional positions for things to move to, maybe some different locations, Easter eggs of a sort. You could add a different monster other than the dragon, maybe like different levels sort of thing, where one is in each level. Or obviously, you could add different characters of any kind, with different interactions. There's almost limitless expansion with places, monsters, characters that you could add of any kind. You could add maybe levels of sorts with different numbers of choices available, or you could, I don't know, change up your AI a little bit so it tries to follow a certain pattern. There's tons of options for that. But overall, your game is really interesting. Um, I would maybe like a little bit of visuals, maybe even if just a little sprite next to the name would be kind of cool, so that I can visually see what I'm looking at, other than just a text adventure sort of thing. Unless that's entirely what you're going for, in which case, feel free to absolutely disregard that information. In general, good job. Your spike is definitely implemented. It does seem like there's a game loop. I'm not really sure what's happened on this specific run, but I did get the game to loop by just yielding and letting it play out. I think it might break if you get to zero available choices. It seems like you can't yield at that point, but that's not a issue since bugs are not counted against you for the gold spike. Anyways, good job, and I would like to see you expand on the board game elements and uh, perhaps some different choices for the player. Because right now it is a story game where you're kind of creating a story, but it feels like my choices aren't necessarily very meaningful if I'm going to get to a point where I'm just yielding. So while your mechanic is interesting, I definitely want you to think about how you can make the player decisions impactful and make the players feel like they have real agency over what's happening with the game. Overall, good luck going forward, and I had fun checking out your game.